I've seen in the media and I've heard many people repeating this claim that we know the US supplied HIMARS. These are multiple launch rocket systems sent by the US to Ukraine. They're GPS guided. They're supposedly very accurate. And we're being told that this is a wonder weapon that is turning the tide of this conflict in Ukraine's favor. And evidence that this is indeed happening comes to us from NASA. These maps, these satellite images that they make available to the public, indicating the number of fires in any given place on Earth. And so if you zoom in on Ukraine, supposedly, this is how the myth goes, supposedly before the HIMARS became active, you saw all of these fires, and then after they began hitting all of those ammo depots, the fires disappeared because Russia ran out of ammunition, and they halved their amount of artillery barrages. Not true, not true at all. I want to show you perhaps the most prominent source I saw spreading this utter lie. It's Newsweek. Ukraine map suggests U.S. supplied HIMARS could be turning tide of war. And down here they show the map. You can't really see the division here, but it's right here. So you see all of these red dots indicating fires on July 8th, and then in July 12th you see very few. And it says 24-hour NASA firms data from eastern Ukraine on July 8th versus July 12th. An interesting sharp decrease in returns. And it says maps of Ukraine created by NASA's firm's fire tracking system suggest American-made M142 high-mobility artillery rocket systems known as HIMARS could be turning the tide of Vladimir Putin's war. Side-by-side maps of Ukraine's eastern Donbas region, the front line of the war, dated July 8th and July 12th, show the number of major fires in Ukraine, an indication of Russian shelling before and after Ukraine ramped up attacks using the HIMARS precision rocket weapon system provided by Washington. NASA's Fire Information for Resource Management System, or FIRMS, was created to monitor large-scale fires. The maps illustrate a sharp decrease in the number of fires detected by NASA satellites, an indicator that long-range strikes on Russian ammunition warehouses appear to be playing in Ukraine's favor. And then listen to this. A big question mark of whether or not this indicates a decrease in Russian shelling, and whether or not the Ukrainian strikes on Russian ammunition facilities have had an impact on Russian fires capabilities. Some, I'm going to guess, self-proclaimed defense specialist said on Twitter. Now, there's a real easy way to solve that question mark. Go to the NASA website where these maps are made publicly available and pick more than 2 data points, because only 2 data points tells you nothing, literally nothing. It tells you absolutely nothing. They're 2 entirely cherry-picked points of information used to buttress propaganda, falsehoods told to misinform people, to mislead people. That is exactly what this is. Go to the map. So right here, here it is. This is today. There's a lot of dots today. And if you believe the Ukrainian government, they haven't lost a single HIMARS. They haven't lost a single HIMARS. As a matter of fact, between the time that Newsweek article was written and today, supposedly, there should be a full 16 HIMARS operational in Ukraine. We shouldn't be seeing any fires at all if this was something that was actually reducing the amount of ammunition Russian forces had available to them. Where did these red dots come from? How is this happening? So already there's, it's a little suspicious. But anyway, let's look at July 8th. Just like they said, there's an awful lot of red dots there. There's a lot of red dots. And then you go to July 12th, and there's very few red dots. Now let's take a look at a few other data points. Let's check out June 7th. HIMARS weren't even in Ukraine. And you see far fewer than on July 8th, far fewer. This is June 1st. There's hardly any fires at all. There wasn't a single HIMARS on Ukrainian soil. How about August 9th? quite a few fires. And August 15th, also many more. And so what is this map telling us? There's no relationship between these fires showing up on this NASA map and the arrival of HIMARS in Ukraine. Even before any HIMARS rolled into Ukraine, there were days where there were massive fires everywhere, and then there were days where there were very few. There's obviously something else driving this trend, and it isn't the HIMARS. So I just thought I would point that out. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the Western media talk about this, and supposed self-proclaimed military experts picking 2 data points on a NASA map, not exploring the tool at all, not doing a video to show people the trend over time and really make a point. And as you can see, I mean, even in the Newsweek article, I mean, what do you think this guy is saying when he says a big question mark? He knows that it's not indicating anything. He's just throwing it out there because he's a propagandist. This Newsweek article, I mean, the person writing it, all they had to do was go to the NASA website and see it for themselves instead of depending on some self-proclaimed expert on Twitter who in one of the posts is admitting that there's a big question mark. There's a big question mark because it doesn't stand up to any scrutiny at all. And that's Newsweek's job. And anyone out there calling themselves a journalist, that is their job, is to look at a claim, go research it themselves instead of just parroting it and putting information out there that is not true. This was not true. If you thought this video was useful, please like and share. Think about subscribing to my channel. It's free to do. It helps the channel grow. If you're watching this on YouTube, please check the video description below for other places you can find and follow my work. I'm on Telegram. I'm on Odyssey. I'm also on Rumble. I'm starting to upload videos exclusively to these platforms instead of YouTube to avoid censorship. And if I am ever completely kicked off of YouTube, that's where to find my work from then on. Also in the video description below will be the link to this Newsweek article, as well as the link to this NASA map. It's got current. It also has historical. And the historical, they have months, days, and months over here. And I suppose that this is cumulative, you know, like two weeks. There you go. Many more strikes. And then 1 day. And I was looking at it on 1 day. So that is there. That is for everyone, including people at Newsweek who should have went there and checked it and then realized that wasn't a story. Unless their goal was to just spread war propaganda. And everyone citing this is either having a very hard time coping with reality. That's why they cling to something that is not actual evidence. Or it is just plain a straight up war propaganda. That will all be in the video description below. So are ways you can help support my work. You can do that through Buy Me a Coffee, through Patreon, and also through PayPal. And to everyone who has been helping out, whether it's month-to-month memberships, one-time donations, sharing my work on Twitter because I've been banned off of Twitter, or just sending kind words, news tips, sharing my work with others elsewhere. All of that is greatly appreciated. I couldn't do this work without all of that help. So thank you so much. And as always, thank you for watching.